Hey Jamie, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Today's the day that doesn't exist. February 29th, 2025. Anyone that's watching this, obviously, relax. It's just a matter of understanding how leap years work and understanding that really the entire concept of a leap year as well as our modern day calendar stems from the government. We are universally told that there's X amount of days in the year based on a sunset. And the reason why I say these things is that one needs to accept basic truths in the world that they live in. And I find myself making this video because I've been in denial of a couple of things. Number one, I need to accept that I'm fat. And I need to accept
You're
that
so mean to yourself.
it's the world that we live in, and it is so important for people to be honest with themselves first before taking any defense towards criticism. And I have made a lot of changes in my life in the last couple of weeks ever since the weight of proving myself to the world has been taken off. Because the reality is that if a human being chooses not to believe another human being, there's virtually nothing that can be done to sway that person. Jamie, you want to come on the camera?
Sure.
I think that it really helps me out for anyone that's watching this to have a person next to me discussing this so that I look less crazy. And I understand that right now my beard is all over the place, my hair is all over the place, I am physically a mess. And a lot of that is the reaction to the stresses in my life as well as the terrible choices of diet and exercise and consumption that I partake in as a direct result of me making excuses. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yep.
All right. So today is February 29th, and you had asked me, what is this video about? This video is about to remind myself as well as everyone else that just because I'm dealing with one thing at a time, which is the bankruptcy rules and regulations regarding submission of transparent facts as well as dealing with the liabilities that may or may not be true. But I want to remind everybody that I am a victim of over $100 million of fraud. And the reason why I say this is because people like Jim Slakian, Cash Cow Storage, the Moisha guy, my mother, Brian Lustig, Harris Palmer, and anybody else that has defrauded me, I will get my day. But it's important for me to take a step back and say, all right, obviously nothing that I've done and said is good enough for people to treat me like a human being and recognize that it's not possible for me to restart my life until these matters are resolved. And I do believe that I'm being tortured basically by the system, since the truth has consequences. And when I chose to speak the truth and say, all right, I'm a federal agent and here are some stories regarding the truth of the world we live in, rather than listening to lies from thousands of different sources, I am a human being who actually was the CEO of Pierce Bainbridge. I was in Kansas City for H&R Block. I was in Paris during the Pope Benedict's, whatever we had. It's irrelevant. None of that matters is what I'm saying, because I come before you as a father, as a regular person, and saying, I am not just here for myself. I am here for every other victim that has been systemically silenced because they didn't have the resources to claw back their claims. And that's very important, because we really, as a society, can easily dismiss what I am saying by basically saying, all right, this guy's crazy, he is just looking for some payday, a windfall as a direct result of circumstances. But that's not what is actually happening. I want to remind everyone, Jamie, have I ever asked for a penny for anything that I do or say on this channel?
No, never.
Never. And I never will, because this channel is not a YouTube channel. It is my subconsciousness streaming out and communicating. And I've used this platform as my weapon of choice to deal with the systemic corruption that is happening in New Jersey. That's it. There's nothing else to say other than the countless motions and letters that we have continued to file simply do not work. They are being systemically ignored, and it's irrelevant of the facts. It is a system that plays non-attorneys like fools, like idiots who believe that there is some coherent and logical neutral party that's actually going to look at the facts and ignore the circumstances of a lawyer versus a not lawyer. And as a matter of fact, that's not the case at all. I have routinely been punished for not being a lawyer, yet at the same time being held to the same standards as a lawyer. And that paradox is exactly the core foundation of why the legal system is so bloated with basically inefficiency. And as we see in the headlines, the bureaucratic federal government is being systemically sliced up so that human beings who have made an entire lifetime living on doing routinely nothing are no longer a burden on taxpayers.
Yeah.
And we as a society, especially small business owners, need to really wake up that we are being used and manipulated by the legal system throughout routine threats of litigation and insane corruption based on larger corporations being able to destroy smaller, less well-funded in their legal defense corporations, and that's irregardless of the facts.
Yes, exactly.
See, February 29, 2025, irregardless, these are things that I have had to invent in order to display a set of circumstances that simply is not believable. So if you don't believe in today's date, if you don't believe in the words that are being created by the lexicon of the American communication format and not of standard third-party corporations that say, this is your language, because words are really important. And to close out this week, I have to really have a theme behind all this, and that's words. And words is really, it's two words, words and time. That's all that this is.
Why are words and time?
Words are words because a human being can only express themselves in one type of way in one particular instance. So I'm either at a computer writing the same words that I've written for 5 years, or I'm in front of the screen and having some variety and utilizing my best skill sets. So for example, my writing gets whitewashed amongst artificial intelligence as well as fake intelligence and real intelligence that are human beings that are designed to be neutralized in their capacity to orate via a written system. So for example, what that means is a human being does not need to be good at speaking. They do not need to have the right facts. They need to be able to put them in a format that is acceptable to the judges and the third parties that have created this format to keep people out of this club by basically saying that there is some deficiency in the writing rather than looking at the facts and the circumstances of how the writing is being put in.
Excellent. Well said.
Yeah, you think so? Well, how would you, if you understand the concept of simplifying and being able to orate something that's really complex, how would you regurgitate this as a laywoman?
Meaning, like, as someone who isn't going to get bogged down with the minutia of the writing, the best action for you would be to do it on video because it is...
Because my name is Dan Rieses, and this is the first real public trial in American history. And the reason why I say this is because it doesn't matter if the judge is going to destroy my facts and my actual arguments, because this content will live on forever. And I would rather die fighting than live in a world where I give up my claims and give everything up because I was a victim of bullying. And that's what this video is about. This video is about to reset myself and remotivate myself and wake myself up that I can't live in this depressed state of mind because I have in the past been a victim. I have to live in the present, and I have to wake up in a world where, shit, I had all this stuff stolen from me, I gotta go get it. And it sucks for me, but once I'm able to go get it, I'm able to then go back and get the time back through clawing back my claims. And it sucks. And that's the point of this, is that I have lived and I've built my entire life based on the notion of the US Constitution, as well as the protection that law enforcement and things like that are inherently awarded to human beings who do not do anything wrong. But it is very clear, based on the end result of 4 years of filming content and talking about it, as well as thousands of papers and letters have been filed, that it is irrelevant of what you say and what your facts are if you're a human being that is looked at as an adversary to the current situation of corruption. If you are someone that is looking to disrupt the flow of organized crime, controlling the foundation of taxpayer-funded organizations such as the courts and politics, as well as any government agencies such as the U.S. Trustee's Office, then you should turn this off immediately, because it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to you, because until you realize that you are completely stuck in a world where you have to do what Mark Rhesus does, which is my brother, and that's suck dick to a large corporation, and you can read his LinkedIn page. It sounds like the comic book that I played for you, Action Item Man, if anyone wants to see that. Look, that is a systemic foundation of a slow death of the human spirit. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have no creativity, if you do not want anything in life other than to drink alcohol, hit a golf ball, and tell people what book you read last week. And that's really what my brother's life has turned into, because he has completely abandoned all real fundamental principles of both manhood and brotherhood, two things that I stand very firmly for. I'm a man of code and honor, and if I have to be the only man of code and honor, then I'll be the recipient of a lot of positive things later down the line. But I am not going to be the kind of guy that simply folds in the matter of terrible adversity going against me. And I need to express myself continuously and remind everybody that I have done more for the people of the United States than any other human being that is currently alive, or dead for that matter, because I've studied history very much. And there's a lot of people that have really contributed a lot to the growth of the world, but very few of them have only been one-sided. I have not received a penny of government aid other than the PPP loans given to my mother's company. And even that alone was one of the fundamental principles behind the destruction of my mother's business at the hands of my mother. She didn't understand that there was nothing wrong with being able to utilize a government-funded program, but rather she saw it as some sort of a veiled criminality because she herself is a criminal. And that's the kind of things that I have to deal with, because I am the only responsible person. There's no one else that shows up to court and answers questions, and there's no one else that has any assets or even a set of testicles, balls. And I'm talking about Jamie having bigger balls than any of these clowns that are trying to come after me, because she actually shows up and gives testimony and stands in the way of abuse, whereas people whose authority is challenged and their ability to systemically whitewash the truth in order to get their way through unfair economic advantages are scared to do the things that she does. So that's really where I wanted to start, and I was going to do another video that basically says the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And being that this is the first American trial, the reason for why I say this is because if you look at my video content,
it's good.
you're right. I mean, you're right.
Slow down.
Talk fast because I'm really insecure about how dumb people are. And if people were a little bit smarter, they would realize that I wouldn't even have to do any of this stuff if people just did their jobs. And I started out with a magic trick where I said, I only need one thing for you guys, okay? Please do your jobs. Had anyone done their jobs, forget about everyone. These are people who get paid money to do a job. It is a job. It is not a favor for Dan Reeses. It is a job. There is no secondary form of income that you're supposed to receive to not do your job while taking money to do your job. That is the essence of corruption. I am the poster child for victims of corruption who just don't want to take it. That's it. That's all this is. Eventually, a human being exhausts all remedies and all resources in order to try to adjudicate things in a civil, coherent, non-public fashion. And eventually, they're left with nothing more than this weapon of choice, which is the court of public opinion. Since the real courts have completely not only failed me, they've been very successful in their capacity to systemically crush my voice and take my money. It is something that you see in thousands of movies and all this other stuff, but you never see it to intelligent, like aggressive white guys like me who are supposed to be on the other end of this thing. But I am a Jewish guy who is a non-college graduate who has been effed so bad by this system that the only thing that I can do is continuously work. Well, I plan on still launching my businesses through surrogate operators and legitimate custodians of the brand. And I'll go into Microbank and the soliloquy that I've really wanted to say for a long time regarding the importance of female-owned businesses for micro-lending. And Grameen, 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 World Bank, and Muhammad Yunus really pioneered this concept in the 70s. And I am very, very happy to launch my business concepts with two female operators at the helms of them. And it's really, the majority of it is going to be you. And I'm very proud of Mel to be able to do her own thing. And she's really utilized. And I, as a person, am very frustrated with myself because I have tolerated all of this. And next week, I don't know where they are, but eventually I'm going to show you Donald Trump's golf clubs, which I have. And somebody needs to tell me why I have them. Because we live in a world where the commander-in-chief of the United States, known as the president, Donald Trump, should not have a guy on YouTube saying, hey, I stole Donald Trump's golf clubs, and all I'm looking to do is have a very preliminary basic conversation regarding a very important topic that is universally applicable to almost all 300 million legitimate American citizens. So I do not speak of things I do not know of. Immigration is not my bag of tea. My essential issues are with federal narratives that are being used to manipulate people rather than bringing us together as a unified nation in order to really stop wasting our resources for internal conflicts and work together in order to progress our society into the next generation, launch digital consciousness, and really get everyone on the same page saying that, hey, the video cameras are on. There is no ability to communicate without a written record in a digital form that's easily and expressly monitored by third-party individuals that will out the criminals.
Well said.
You think so?
Yeah. Very well said. Thanks for slowing down.
I only have 2 speeds, on and off.
Sure.
I only have 2 speeds.
All right, let's cut.
What do you have to say?
You really put me on the spot. If I had something to say, I would have said it.
I wonder if people actually believe that there's no teleprompter.
I don't know.
You know, there are some people out there that actually recognize how difficult what I do is. And for those people, I want to say thank you. I have a really difficult fucking job. And that makes me an
Me
irritable
too.
human being. And all I want is a little bit of love and a little bit of consideration. And that's it. And I think that my demands are very simple. I've always been a love terrorist, and I will make a series of videos that are really the foundation for the business model rather than the flow of beautifully worded anger words. And words,
Well-orated.
words are very
Words.
powerful. And we will discuss things like gag orders, corruption, murder on the next episode. So until next time, my name is Dan Reeses, and today is February 29th, 2025, if you believe it.